to my beautiful unschool life. I'm Erin, this is Bethany, and this is Abby, and we live in this tiny house that I built by myself 2.5 years ago. Right now I'm working on renovating my tiny house, and in last week's episode I told you that today's episode would have the big reveal of my finished kitchen. So let's go inside and check it out. Surprise! It's not done. The house is still a complete disaster. A week later, are you surprised that it took me 10 times longer than anticipated to put my house back together? No. Fast the fans go. Nobody is surprised. Nobody is surprised. Oi! They both came in at the same time. Get out of here.
Cole!
Get out of my house, Cole. Get out of my house, Cole.
I was awake when you
So I need to finish putting the kitchen back together. I also need to can tomatoes, make pasta sauce, and make salsa. I also kind of need to cut the grass. The girls are working on their entries for the fall fair. They always enter some crafts and things into the fall fair, so they're busy with that. So there's a lot going on today. And I'm tired. I don't know if you remember, I got brain damage earlier this year. I got a concussion, and every once in a while my brain just goes on the fritz, which it did yesterday. So today I'm still feeling a little bit of like a hangover of my brain not working properly. And now that the cold weather is here, I'm thinking about fall and all the jobs that fall brings to get ready for winter. So I need to stockpile my wood, split my wood. I need to insulate the chicken coop. We need to get some fresh straw from somewhere, enough straw to get us through the winter. I still haven't even built the bunny barn, which I was hoping to do in the spring. And here we are in the fall and haven't built that yet. And I spent 1 month doing a kitchen renovation that I thought would take me like 3 or 4 days. So I still have the rest of the house to finish on the inside, and I still wanted to put on solar panels, siding, front porch, and a back porch. So I am feeling overwhelmed, giving myself a little pep talk that I'm doing my best, and my best is just going to have to be good enough. The problem is not my productivity. The problem is my expectations. Were way too high, and you guys all knew that when I posted that video in the spring. Even I knew that when I posted the video in the spring. I just didn't realize how way too high my expectations were. I thought they were maybe like double what I could accomplish, but it turns out they were like 30 times what I could accomplish. So for instance, I should be working on putting my kitchen back together, but instead I am trying to unjam a can of glitter spray paint that, can I just say, I paid $25 for, which is a ridiculous amount, except that Abby was going on about how I love Bethany more than I love her, because if I loved Abby, I would buy her the craft supplies that she needs for the fair. So out of guilt, I did buy Abby the craft supply that she needs for the fair, and do you know how far it went? It got that far before the can completely clogged up. And when I look it up online, everyone says, yeah, these cans clog up practically instantly. They can charge $25 for something that works for 2 squirts and then seizes up. Anyways, so I've got Dawn's air compressor. I'm trying to get it to work. It worked the first time, and then when I went to show Abby that it was working, it stopped working. So I can tell that this is a day that I'm going to end up being very angry. I already feel it happening. So the turkeys are eating mushrooms. Are you all right? You look a little confused. Maybe you shouldn't eat the mushrooms. So I got the girls all set up at a table out there so they can do their crafting. And I got my camera set up here, and I was about to say, all right, now let's see how far we can get before the girls need my help. But Bethany needs my help, so I'll film that later. She's got her angry ears on. It's funny. It looks like this is the kitchen cupboard, right? And then when your foot suddenly appears in the kitchen cupboard. I got it on video and everything. I just had to give some mealworms to the turkeys to get them out of here because they got into the girl's craft bag and dumped all the beads and all the buttons and all the sequins and everything all over the grass and started eating them. So turkeys are pains in the butt is what we're learning. They're hilarious. They give us so much laughter, but they're pains in the butts. They're destroying all the cars. My car and Dawn's car both have scratches all over the hood. And I had someone come here last week to do canning with me, and they even scratched her car. And then they just get into everything. They're very curious. They're always finding trouble. They're such pains in the butt, to the point where we had been intending to keep a breeding pair at least. I don't think we're going to do that anymore. I think we're going to butcher all 7 of them because they get into too much trouble. They drive me crazy. It's almost 1 o'clock. And so far I've put away a dozen spice jars. This, my darlings, is why it has taken me a week to not put the kitchen away. Somebody walks, those are all gonna fall down. It would be nice to have a shelf that I could find to fit all of those, but I don't imagine such thing exists. I need to be able to see the lids. Well, it's good enough for now. It is now 1:30. The girls had a fight, like an actual fist fight. Ran screaming off into their separate corners, so I've spent the last 20 minutes trying to calm down both girls, and now I'm going to make lunch. So, winning. Bethany is an amazing child, and she is still picking up all the crap that the turkeys got all over the place. Nice work, babe. Wow, there's so much of it. Stupid turkeys. Good job. Okay, it's 2:15. Let's see if I can get some work done. Okay, what am I doing? Smudge! This is not your house. Oh my god. To working on the kids' missions. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I just want to have a nap. That's not going to make anything better, is it?
It is raining, but all I can see is the summer we spent.
Yeah.
The letter in my wallet, I'll keep it till we meet again.
3 o'clock.
Never doubt it's true. I am not forgotten you. You're the one on my mind.
I got this new tripod and it's garbage. It's already broken. Before I even put my phone on it, it broke in one place and then it broke in another place and my phone just keeps falling out of it. And this is the problem with the world that we live in. People want to buy stuff cheap and then they make it cheap and it's garbage and it breaks the first time you use it. And so now all these materials that have been produced in a factory and shipped halfway around the world, I'm just going to throw straight into a landfill after half a use. This is the problem with our world. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'm really starting to get cranky. The kids have noticed because they're getting cranky too. Everybody is getting pissy because I'm getting pissy. If I can't control my emotions, everyone else's emotions go to shit. And it's not fair. When do I ever get to just be grumpy? I never get to be grumpy. I have to suck it up and be in a good mood because everybody's day depends on me being the confident captain of the ship, and it's not fair. I don't want to be. I just want someone to take care of me for once. I have to go find my old tripod, which is also broken, but it's less broken than this thing. Finally made some progress. It's far from done, but I made some progress. Now I'm going to cook some dinner. That'll have to do for today. How about you girls? How did you do today?
I got all this done.
This is Abby's beach diorama. Bethany's cherry blossom diorama. Oh, your little pond is beautiful.
Thanks.
And Abby, can I see your mask? Abby figured out a way to keep the turkeys away. They're kind of scared. All right. Poor turkeys.
I made a massive ice last time.
straw. Well, that one doesn't have any straw in it yet. Come on, are you kidding me? I'm in the middle of that one. So I am making some spaghetti sauce. I don't feel very good today. I'm not quite sure what's up. I had hoped to spend the whole day canning tomatoes and making salsa and making tomato sauce, but I just didn't feel very well. So I worked on the house a little bit and I had a nap, and now I've kicked myself out of bed to make some pasta sauce. I'm gonna try and do it with as many of my own ingredients as possible. So I'm starting with the tomatoes. I've got onions, garlic, and pepper, I believe, that I should be able to put all in the sauce. I have my own basil as well and my own oregano. So let's see if I can do that without getting too worn out.
Time you move like water and taste like wine. You're holier than I am, holier than I am. Gentle hands, gold-lit eyes. I am a man made of borrowed time. You're holier than I am, holier than I am. I am the dust, you are the rain. You pull me close, I push away. I swear I love you, but
Actually a pretty good haul, considering I spent the whole summer telling everyone that my garden is a failure this year.
Afraid I will let you down one day. Still, I don't know how. You're holier than I am, holier than I am. I am the dust.
So when I say that my garden this year is a complete failure, I have to kind of acknowledge to myself that that's like, there's a context to that. Like, the intention for my garden this year initially was to do the farmer's market again. So for a farmer's market garden, yeah, it is a failure. If I had been doing the farmer's market this year, I would have struggled to have things to sell every week. It would definitely have been a challenge. Which is sort of the reason why I didn't do the farmer's market this year, because I could see I had so many failures so early on that I could see that it wasn't going to work for a farmer's market. But if I think of it just as a personal garden, then actually it's been kind of a success, because I've put very little maintenance into it. I have not been weeding. I did absolutely zero. Actually, that's not true. I did tie up one row of tomatoes. I pruned and tied up one row of tomatoes. So I put in almost no effort into the garden this year. I mulched it, I planted it, and then I walked away and I worked on my house instead. So from that perspective, then yeah, the garden isn't a failure. It's actually a smashing success. The last thing that I need to do before my kitchen reno is completely finished, well, finished for now, is I have a curtain that I need to hem. So I pulled out my sewing machine, and I've done a video before about me sewing, and I talked about how much I just hate sewing. I do it because I'm poor, not because I enjoy it. I'm not horrible at it, but I could be better for sure, but I just don't want to. It's not a skill that I'm interested in acquiring. I know how long it takes to acquire a new skill, and this is just not on the list, not a priority. But I have a curtain I need to hem. So I'm currently lugging my sewing machine across the yard to Dawn's shop where the air compressor is, because for some reason it just won't turn. It's not working. And my only guess is that maybe something's jammed in there. And if I squirt a couple squirts of air on it, maybe that'll clear it out and it'll work again. Other than that, I'm gonna have to do a more invasive surgical procedure, which I'd really rather not do. Nope, still gets stuck right there. I'll go backwards, but when I try to go forward, it gets stuck right there. I don't know why. So now the question I'm asking myself is, which will take longer, fixing the sewing machine or just sewing it by hand? I fixed it. It was a really simple, stupid problem. Okay, at long last, the kitchen is done. Everything is put where it goes. Everything's been organized. The house is not clean because the girls are here and they're crafting, which means it's a permanent disaster, but the kitchen is organized. So let me give you the tour now that we've been living in it for a week. So, I have a couple of rag rugs that I purchased from the secondhand store. So those are breaking up the dirt a little bit. Absolutely white floors show the dirt like crazy. That is to be expected, and in theory, the floors are not staying white. Eventually, the plan is to paint the entire interior of the tiny house to look like a forest. So the floor of the tiny house is going to have a creek running through it, and the walls are going to have plants growing up them. But for now, white, and I really like it. It's nice and bright. The kitchen cupboards are really lovely. I like them a lot. However, the bow in the cupboards is creating a problem. Already the hinges are falling apart. The pins are falling out. The hinges are not. They can't handle this. So immediately we have a problem here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to have to take them off and try and flatten them. Dawn thinks that won't work. Dawn thinks that the only way to straighten them will be to run wood on the outside to try and make it straight. I'm not doing that. I would rather cut them into smaller doors, a door for each shelf. I would rather do that than run a piece of wood on the outside. That would look stupid. So already there's something I need to fix. The smaller cupboards, on the other hand, those are working perfectly fine. And I'm really in love with having the curtain there. I think it's a really nice pop of color and I'm really happy with it. We were keeping my cooler used to be in the bottom shelf of that cupboard there. Did you want to open it, Bethany, so that we can see? It fit in there perfectly, but anytime we wanted to use it, we had to pull it out in order to open it. And that was kind of a pain in the butt. So the nice thing about having it here is that we can just open it. We don't have to pull it all the way out. But the downside to this is I used to keep my garbage can in this cupboard, and now I have nowhere to keep my garbage can. It is temporarily living in the bathroom, but that is less than ideal. So a solution will need to be found there. There are different garbage cans that you can put inside of cupboards, but my cupboards won't really work with that. So, drawing board. My kitchen counter. I'm very happy with my kitchen counter. It is much easier to wipe with a cloth now. I bought this really nice jug here, so it's like we actually have a tap in the kitchen. It's real glass, it's real ceramic, it's real metal, but this nozzle here is cheap plastic and it's already giving us a problem. Anytime you try and pull it, it just spins. So that is another thing to add to my to-do list. So the other thing that I have done differently this time is I have put a whole lot of extra storage solutions in these cupboards. So the size of these shelves is kind of awkward. Like they're taller than a normal shelf, but they're too small to add an extra shelf in the middle. So I'm trying to come up with ways to maximize my space that work within those boundaries. So here I've got these baskets. Down here I've got an extra shelf in there so that some things can be under it and some things can be on top of it. Over here I bought this really lovely drawer system so we can organize all of our bits and bobs and things. And then down here I've got these baskets that are double length, 2 baskets velcroed together so that when I pull one, I'd get both of them. So I can store a lot of stuff in this space here under this shelf. And another thing that I have under the sink is my sink bucket here. It needs to be elevated a little bit so that the pipe goes straight into the bucket. So I built this little stand that it sits on, which works really nicely. And then also because the windows in my kitchen are all secondhand windows that I just salvaged from other places, they don't fit really well with my kitchen counter. So the kitchen counter ends here and the windowsill is way down there, like an entire hand's width below. So I got a couple of other shelves that are here, just simple little dollar store shelves that I can put there and I can put things on it. I know oil shouldn't be stored in the window, but I'm still working out the kinks right now. So it's really nothing that fancy. It just looks a little more finished and a little less like a construction site, which makes me very happy. But it's remarkable to me that I spent a month on that and it made such a small difference to my house. And that is the nature of being a single mom building your own tiny house. That things take a very long time and it's not even that good. Okay, and I guess that's it for this week. Next week, it's just me. The girls are going on a road trip with their dad and their granddad for 2 whole weeks. So I'll hopefully get some work done, but probably a fraction of what I would like to get done. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you are interested in more tiny house content, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I post every Wednesday as much as I possibly can. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you next week. Take care.
How do I say goodbye? Caroline, heaven knows I'd stay, but I have to run.
Right in there and give me a tour.
So the theme of this is like backyard garden kind of.
All right, point some things out to me.
So, see here the frog with the top hat. Jeremy. These rocks.
It's not
here-
Jeremiah.
No, that'd be.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog?
No, that'd be too. That'd
be too
copyright.
predictable?
That'd be copyright.
Oh, okay.
These are the rocks. They're made of glue. They're made of glue, hot glue. So it took me quite a while, but I think they look pretty good. Leading up to the little cottage. I got this cherry blossom and the birds that are flying using popsicle sticks and fishing wire. And the clouds are made of cotton balls. And I used these stickers to make the cottage, the bike, and the other things. Wagon wheel. A bunch of glue strings everywhere though. Got the dog.